Greetings, Hotep. This is just a short talk about what Africans think about black Americans, those of us who have been to the continent, who live in Africa, who have visited Africa, and it's probably the same thing for the ones here. I've heard more than once, too many times really, for years. I go back and forth to Ghana, and people still say, I hear they don't like us over there. Africans don't like us. But in all honesty, I was hearing this in the 1970s when I was a young man. People thinking that Africans didn't like black Americans. I never felt that way. Long before I ever traveled to Africa, I just didn't get that impression. I'm not around many Africans. Hadn't been around many. Didn't know any personally. Went to school with some, and I never got the impression that they were unfavorable or didn't like us. So this is an answer to that. How do they accept us in Ghana? That's the only place I've been. I've been in Ethiopia also, but I'll just stick with Ghana for right now. How do they accept black Americans? Well, they look at us as being foreigners, for real. When they see me, they call me O'Bruni. Not as much as they used to, and I'm just talking about strangers, not the people that know me personally. O'Bruni means white man. You can look at me and tell I'm not a white man, but to Africans that haven't traveled, they don't know. They don't say it out of anger. They don't say it with animosity. It's not like the N word that white folks may use here. No, they just say it because they see me, they see white man, for some reason. And not only that, brothers who are darker, black Americans, a partner of mine had been way before I went. He's quite a few shades darker than me. Never would be expected to be called a white man until he got to Africa. And he's the one that told me before I went they called him O'Bruni, and how mad it made him. But you get used to it, and it's not done with malice intent. You can have conversations with people and enlighten them and educate them to the degree that you can, and to the degree that they will listen. But that's one of the things we have to deal with when we go to Ghana. So how do they treat us? They treat us pretty well, actually. Look at us like foreigners. We're different, they don't. Most of them don't know our background, our history, what we've been through. Living in America, they know nothing about it. Most of them that haven't traveled, they know whites, interestingly enough, and maybe even more comfortable with them than they are with us. Oftentimes, because whites have been there for the last 500 years. They never stop going and coming. They don't tell you about it, but they're always in Africa doing business, and they doing good things too, building hospitals and schools and philanthropy. And generally speaking, it's the decent ones to go, so the ones that are there have a certain relationship and opinion about them. But they don't really know us, black Americans and blacks from the diaspora, until we come, and it's not nearly as many of us there for as long as whites have been there. So generally speaking, they like us. They accept us, nothing negative for the most part. They see you as somebody who's an opportunity, really. If you're from America, you got money. They assume you got wealth and power and prestige, really, and that's how they treat you. I felt like James Brown and Michael Jackson all rolled up in one the first time I went in 2003 from the way people treated me. Nothing negative, nothing bad. Everybody wants to get to know you. They want to know about you. They want to know where you're from. And honestly, been my experience, when they realize I'm a black American, it tenders up their heart. They really feel good about that, because they can't look at you and tell where you're from sometimes, although they know you're not an African for real, no matter how much you think you're one. Because Africa is not about color. It's about culture more than color. So when you go to Africa, it's not like open arms based on the brotherhood, the black thing, because in Africa, black don't mean nothing, because everybody's black. So brotherhood is based on more than being black. It's not based on the color. It's based on clan. It's based on tribe. It's based on family. It's based on history. It's based on how long you've known somebody. The brotherhood thing, just like among us in black America, we say this is my brother, this is my sister, because you've been knowing them for a long time, have good relationships with them. It's like that in Africa, not just based on color. But I say this too, to my brothers and my sisters here. How many of us know any Africans in the black American community? And those of us who come across Africans, how do we welcome and greet them? How do we welcome them here? They're a stranger in a strange land, and we're the ones at home. But how many of us roll out the red carpet or even take the time to get to introduce yourself and try to figure out who these people are and make them feel comfortable? On the other hand, in Africa, it's been my experience personally. When they realize you're Black American, they say, "Welcome home, brother. This is your home too." A number of them have said that to me through the years, and they still do. Welcome home. They make you feel like you're a part of something. You know, they extend the hand of friendship. It's up to the one at home who's supposed to lay out the welcome, not the one who's visiting to barge in and force his way in. So in Ghana, and I'm sure it's the same in other places in Africa, when they realize who you are, what you are, then they welcome you. And also about this white man thing, they look at us like that because not just the skin color, but you come in the European traditions of dress most of the time, name most of the time, culture most of the time, if not all the time, religion most of the time. So we come in the Western image, not just on skin color, but based on how we dress, how we talk, how we walk. It's not African, and no matter how much we think we are African, want to be African, we are African because it's in our DNA, but we've been gone for a long time. So they look at you and they recognize that you not the same as them, you know, and they're not the same as each other. There's thousands of different African tribes, languages, and groups. So it's not just based on color. That's the main thing I wanted to say. Let me see. And they may not know, yeah. Some of them are more progressive. Some of them have traveled. Some of them have been outside, a little bit more open-minded, a little bit more progressive, and know some of the things that others don't know. Well, like I said, they do want to get to know you. They do look at it like it's an advantage and an opportunity to get to know you. It's about the money, oftentimes. So, Africa, you know, people are decent. People are people. Some will like you, some won't. Just like here. How many of us don't like each other? That's the black man's issue. Seems like to me, it's the same way in Africa. You know, amongst Africans, not just Africans towards Black Americans. You know, some of us in Black America, we got all kind of issues and problems with each other, and then we expect the Africans to have open arms and just welcome us like nobody's business. Some of them will, some of them won't. It's just an individual thing. But they don't have any animus towards you. They don't have any hostility towards you because you're a Black American. That's not true. Some of us seem to believe that false idea, the ones who've never been to Africa primarily, and that's most of us. And we got some funny ideas about who people are and what they think about us. And then I've come to understand from traveling and, you know, back and forth, being in and out of here, a lot of people's reaction to us, it ain't based on really it's based on us, our behavior. You hear me? They coming from societies and civilizations that are civilized pretty much, primarily. It could have war and famine and all kind of stuff, but they got respect for elders, they got traditions, they have histories, they have certain ways of acting and behaving, and when they see us coming with the pants down, the loud talking, the cursing, the disrespect for elders, and women cursing out their children and this kind of stuff, whether they're Chinese or Korean or Nigerian or Guatemalan or Haitian or whoever, you know, they tend to back up and not want to be bothered with that. So some of this thing about Black American and the way people look at us here in America is based on the way we behave and act and talk or food, for real. That's some hardcore truth, but it's the real truth. So Africans pretty much, in my experience, especially in Ghana, well received. They're good to Black Americans. They love us for real. And, you know, if you have an opportunity to go, you should go. That's your brother, that's your sister. You can help educate and they can educate you. It's a two-way street. Yeah, Ghana, African, they love us. That's what I have to say about that. All right, till next time. Keep watching my channel. I'm going to share all kind of information about food, about culture, about the women, about the prices, about how you can go and how you can stay, and all kind of good information. Not just Africa, but other places too. Hotel.